Hello everyone, this is our second video about how to become successful and what are the success significators in the natal chart. And in the first video, I spoke about the importance of the IQ and the importance of being happy, and actually the importance of being not unhappy or not being unhappy, because that's the key. A small amount of unhappiness or discomfort is always helping us to strive for more. But if we are really truly and thoroughly unhappy, that is stalling any true achievement. And the IQ, I hope by now you checked your IQ, and I hope it's higher than 120, and then you're all set, then you're fine. And if it's lower, then pay attention to these later videos where I can show you what else we can do. Well, the second most important point in becoming successful is to be industrious. Industriousness is a concept that is not too popular nowadays. It used to be very popular. It's very interesting when we look at how they were teaching adepts and neophytes in ancient times. They allowed them to practice just one tiny portion of a ritual or one tiny portion of a certain lore, and they had to practice it for years sometimes before being able to get to the next level. So this is very important nowadays. Everything has to be quick, everything has to be achieved in a very fast method, and depth is not required. I'm talking about true success in this series, and I would like you to understand the meaning of industriousness. It means that you need to sit down and need to do what's necessary. I'm going to tell you two stories. One is about myself. I apologize, but I know myself, my life quite well. The other one is about a friend of mine who is a gynecologist. And as I told you in the previous video and in many videos, my main residence is in Budapest. So I spent half my time in communist Hungary. So I know everything about socialism and communism. If you have any questions, seek me out and I will tell you stories about it. And in communist times or socialist times, everyone got the same salary, okay? The same income, no matter what sort of work you did, whether you were just sweeping the factory yard or whether you were a surgeon in the operating theater, you got the same amount of money. You can imagine how happy the people were. You can imagine how they were striving to achieve more. No one did anything except those who were industrious. And this particular gynecologist, my good friend, obtained a permit to become a private practitioner as well. This was in the late 80s, early 90s. This was practically when the system changed and they allowed certain enterprises to be non-governmental or non. So it was the private sector started to grow at that point, and so he opened a little place with private practice. I think he had like twice. Originally, he only rented the place for twice a week, a couple of hours. First week, no one came. Second week, he went back. He waited. No one came. Third week, the first patient walked in, and after that, it slowly started to grow because the people were interested in what he was doing. He's a very, very good gynecologist. He's really a super gynecologist. He is very industrious. He's very cautious. He's also very deep in his knowledge. And the people, his patients, realized that. And all of a sudden, a flock of people flooded his surgery, his office, and even today, he's close to having a pension or stopping private practice as well. But he's still working and he's still enjoying it. Okay, that's one example of being industrious. I have a very similar story myself. When that was also in in the late 80s, early 90s, when I decided that I want to teach astrology. We opened a little place. It was called Avalon, of course. What else? Only those with true heart can find it. And actually, it grew into Clearbrook College for Alternative Healing and Parapsychology. So we are still there physically. And I decided at first I'm going to teach little facets of astrology, like feminine archetype. Actually, I started with planetary archetypes, then feminine archetypes, then masculine archetypes, then things like that. So it was the way I wanted to prepare it, because we started the whole thing in October, sometime in October. And so it was already past the beginning of the traditional school year in Hungary, which is always September the 1st. So I figured, okay, fine, I'm going to just give a couple of little talks, and then let's see, maybe I will have a group. And this is exactly what happened. First time, but actually I prepared some leaflets and I threw it away. I mean, threw it into the offices and shops around the premises. And first week, no one came. Okay, no problem. Second week, no one came. Okay. Third week, a little girl, I mean, young girl of probably only 16, with glasses, came in and she asked, "Is this where the astrology workshop is going to be?" And said, "Yeah, it is. It's not a workshop. It's just a talk I'm giving you about. But you see, you're the only one, and you can choose, because I haven't started my series yet. So if you want to listen to feminine archetype, I think that was the year. I believe that was the that day's portion. I can talk about that, and if you want the early ones, I can talk about those as well." And I don't remember what she chose, but she was there alone, and I alone gave a talk to her alone. What would you have done? Okay, probably you would have told her, come back later on, come back next week, because it's only you. I'm not going to talk to you alone. That's what 99% of the people would have done. I didn't. I said to myself, okay, she honored me to come to the place, so I will honor her to tell her what I know. And this is exactly what happened. And next week, she brought 2 of her girlfriends. So there were 3 of them. And in a couple of weeks, I had my group. So in January, I managed to start my first astrology group. I hope you understand the importance of this story. Now let's look at the astrological significators of being to success through industriousness. Yes, I think you may have guessed it. It's Saturn, of course. A strong and good Saturn is something that can provide you with the willingness to be industrious. What is a good Saturn? Of course, if we look at it from a traditional point of view, Saturn is all bad news. It's the misfortuna major, the major misfortune. And at the same time, okay, Saturn rules your spine, your skeleton, and your skin. Think about what you would be without Saturn, okay, and without those things. Usually the house where Saturn is provides a sphere of life which is full of fears, which is full of problems, issues that you don't dare to manifest. And there are 2 ways to look at it or tackle it. Either you are simply saying that this is a sphere of life I'm not going to tackle, I don't care, I won't do it, I won't even touch it. Or you put energy and effort and time into it, and it becomes a very successful sphere of life. Of course, you still will fear, and you will still have a lot of anxiety over it, but it will become quite successful. You will become quite successful in that sphere of life. So actually look at the house placement of Saturn. What I came to realize is that if Saturn is in the 1st house or the 10th, those people are usually quite industrious. There are many reasons why someone puts Saturn in the first house, it usually means that I don't want to strive. I want to stay on my pathway. I want to be I want to be able to go on that particular line that I set myself to go on, and not going away. And in the 10th house, it usually means that you are willing to put long hours, a lot of energy and effort into your career. So another industriousness indicator. And of course, Saturn's good aspect, sextiles and trines are good, especially when you see Sun Saturn trine, Sun Saturn sextile. Those are significators that you may really be industrious enough to become successful. Other aspects depend how you utilize them. And with conjunctions, the problem is that you have two types of conjunctions. Okay, in one, Saturn is behind the other planet, so it's actually backing it up. It's actually, but even then, for the first couple of years, 20, 30 years, you may feel that this Saturn is pushing or pulling you backwards. It's just hindering you from going forward. I'm talking about Sun-Saturn conjunctions now. And the other aspect, the blocking aspect, when Saturn is preceding the other planet, that is always difficult. So I wouldn't, okay, it still gives you the nature of endurance and some form of endurance, and it of course can lead to industriousness, but it's full of hidden and plain obstacles, and it could be a difficult life. Let's put it this way. Okay, these are the main significators of being industrious. And also to put your energy into and effort into it, to have the proper amount of endurance and stamina to be able to stay in that particular place and to have purpose. Those are all quite important as well. The next time we are going to talk about vision, why vision is really a very, very important ingredient to become successful. But nothing, and I mean nothing, can replace industriousness. So be industrious, even if you don't have a Sun-Saturn aspect. I don't have a Sun-Saturn aspect, but I consider myself quite industrious. I'm willing to put a lot of energy and effort into everything I do. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.